Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Tudor, if I could just come back to you and pick up Senator Brasso's line of questioning. He was talking to you about components in China. You said yes. Elaborate. What comes from China?
Well, when you start talking about batteries, many of the minerals come from China. You talk about solar panels, as you know, there's been an embargo against solar panels coming from China. The number of the solar panel companies they're built in China. So when you start bringing renewables into the mix and all these projects, part of what what Manu's talking about is that all these projects are sitting there in the queue, but not all of them have panels. What they've done is they may have land, they may have bought a transformer. They have to do certain things to actually. They may have put a deposit down, but just because they put a deposit down on 10 different sites in PJM doesn't mean they're ever going to build that solar. And part of the challenge is, where are you going to get the equipment? And a lot of that equipment, it comes from overseas, and most of it from China.
Is it a good idea in general for us to be more dependent for critical energy components on China, in your view?
I do not think it's a good idea. No,
sir. I wouldn't think so either. Let me ask you just briefly about another Biden administration rule. This is an EPA rule that would limit carbon dioxide emissions from coal and gas power plants that they issued just last month. You mentioned this in your testimony. You said, I'm going to quote you, the EPA has indicated that their goal is to encourage the closure of coal and natural gas units. Let me just ask you, what do you expect the effect of those mandates will be for prices in Missouri, for example?
Well, there will be significant litigation against the 111BD rules. They're not. Right now, it's just a proposal. There's a 60-day time frame for all of us to make comments. I think that, first of all, is unfair for the RTOs and companies like ours or Southern Company. For us to actually try and look at the effects of that in a 60-day window is frankly unfair. And then whatever they come out with the rule, that's when we have to file litigation. I think you will see significant litigation against that rule. That's money and time, and that cost. So if you have a strategy to run someone out of business by basically taking away their financing and their ability to insure, and you increase their cost, that's a quick way. And then you incent other resources. I'm not pointing at anybody. If you incent other resources, what you do is you create this scenario where it's picking sides. It's picking winners and losers. And I don't think we should be picking winners and losers. That's just my personal opinion.
Well, you're the expert in this field, not me. I would just say that it seems to me that we wouldn't want to be closing down our own energy resources in this country, raising prices for our consumers while simultaneously making ourselves dependent on China in particular, where America gets poorer, China gets richer. That seems like a bad deal to me, whether we're talking about energy or anything else. So I kind of think we're going in the wrong direction here, and I think that your testimony points that out and highlights it. So thank you for being. Yeah, go ahead.
One last point is that I don't know how you can do this, but any way that you can actually slow the EPA down, and they're supposed to have this joint discussions going on with the DOE, anything we can do to get them understanding the significant risk they're putting our country at by forcing something that works to go away before you have something to replace it, we've got to slow them down. That doesn't mean that I'm against, I believe in climate change. I think the climate is changing. I just think reliability is more important. Sorry.
Hey, I'm with you. And also, let's talk about the people who you serve, who pay the bills. Are we going to ask low-income folks, working people in my state, to foot the bills for this administration's climate agenda that benefits China? No thanks. All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman.